Used to sleep through notes in class. I'd wink my eye and laugh. Those days went by so fast.
2022 now, and you're gonna have to bring this back now. Did the first season was we went for a trial run, did the Kings of Conversation and upfront discussions, and now we're gonna take it to the next level now and start putting content out. So you know what, to start with, let me just call my brother. Let's get Big King on the line. What's going on, bro?
What poppin', blood?
Been a long time, you know. Seems like it's been a long time.
It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute.
Seems like it's been a
blood,
long
it's
time.
It's been a year, blood. Talking about the conversation. We're talking about it's been a year. It's like COVID caught Kings of Conversation, bro. It's been in isolation for a year.
Kings of Conversation been in isolation. Yo, so listen, this is
isolate for a year.
So listen, the end of year wrap up, man. The end of year wrap up. What? Talk to me, King. What you been going on with?
Why, sir? This has been 2021 is now over, blood. And if you reflect and look back on all the madness that's been going on, nice. Even all of London broke a world record yesterday. It's not even for the right reason, you get me. This is for the most knife crimes. Blood, I've been around. One of my little youth from the youth club caught a stray bullet, blood. Yo, it's been mad. The Ghislaine Maxwell, R. Kelly, 15, COVID still, new variant. Like all the BBC news we put on today, and still have talked about Prince Andrew. And me after all for a year, I haven't had my put on his neck before, you get me? But
I know.
It now left up, Bridget. You get me?
I know, man. It's been eventful though, isn't it? That's been.
You want to start, Bridget? You want to start?
Listen, I was just reflecting on the times, right, where we was climbing the fence, you know, to do them shows. I know we only put out was it 12? It was about 12 episodes, like short episodes we put out, but the things we had to do to get them out, King, when I reflect back, right, just to get what people don't realize is just to get what we had out was a lot of headache because we were working on minimal equipment and jumping fences and doing all sorts of craziness in it.
Yeah, it's true what you say, though. It's true what you say because, as I said, people will see the show, see them get popped up and think, yeah, but I like this. These bodies to put this out quick and regular. But obviously where man started from, man didn't even really have a computer to use. Man didn't even have a studio space to use. Man didn't even have a building to use.
No
because
building.
People, you get what I'm saying? So man had to beg people could get a space, got a space finally. But even then somebody lost the key. Yeah. And because somebody lost the key, man are climbing over gates and fences and big man in their forces, but like we are breaking the buildings and all these things there. Then on top of all of that, once you got our little location on a regular basis, someone don't think about editing and all them things there. Me and you was new to the game sometimes there as well.
Yeah.
So man are in there editing for all 3-4 hours till I'm falling asleep.
Yeah.
You say, yo, Kingy, what you think of this clip? And it's bare leaves coming from me, blood.
Yeah, listen, right. We
What? I've been through the journey.
It's a journey. It was a learning curve, to be fair, because we don't know what we're doing and we were learning on the job. I think the biggest lesson from me is trying to get a team around you, people to believe in our vision, which was difficult, and relying on other people rather than saying, okay, we don't know what we're doing, let's just go and just do it and learn on the job. I think that was the biggest lesson for me, to be fair. That's what I'm going to take from 21, bring into 22, is that we can do this ourselves.
100, bro. And I think, as I reflecting, especially for the big absence we've had, reflecting on it, I think we set ourselves above too high and not realistic. And on top of that, commitment issues, family, missing, work, just life in general, especially as a grown up. And obviously, we would love the podcast to be our breadwinner. You get me? If that was our breadwinner, then it would all be hunky dory. It'd probably all be 5 episodes a week. But when man, I've got bills and mortgages and insurances to pay and school dinners and all the rest of it, bro, that means things of conversation have to rotate around that. Then you got to get 3 man to 4 man whose all schedules fit together perfectly. And you, as you know, bro, I'm every day you got a new event list, and none of it's predictable.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's been that journey where I think where we've had to look at ourselves and say, yo, stop trying to go above what you can do.
Yeah.
Reel it back in a little bit and get back to basics, man. Simple.
Well, you know what though, like, because you've been talking to me throughout the week, right? And there's something, a clip that I sent you in it, right? But I wanted to listen to this, because it made me reflect on some of the things that you're saying around people coming back to the community, or even people that haven't left the community, but people that are doing very well for themselves, like legitimately, not illegal stuff. Go on, King.
Let the people them hear the clip, man. Let the people hear them clip, and then we'll put our 2 cents in there.
Let's pop this then. Let's pop this. Like,
I think that once you reach a certain level of success, you shouldn't be standing outside on anybody's block. Like, dog, you ain't even got to get shot. You could be standing next to some niggas that's trapping, and it's a stash in a fender that you don't know about. And the cops done seen motherfuckers make cells out of that. You get pulled over. Now you locked up for a potential charge, and you got a show tomorrow.
On every side of the board is chance of community chest.
That's a good one, bro.
So what do you reckon of that, Big King? Like, what's your take on it? Because you told me about a story that's happened.
Right. We can mash it down and we can talk about the Americans. We can talk about the Nipsey Hussles and the young dogs and all of this. Because them man have tried to come back and improve their areas and show the area like, yo, let's grow together. But as you know, in the hood, there tends to be more bad than good sometimes. You get me? And for me, you can't shine and you can't look good in front of people that ain't looking as good as you. And like you just said to me, like, on recent, I can look at our closest home because I've seen a thing in the last few months, but I say a month, where I've seen a man get his thing taken off him on some little CCTV camera thing, and this is at Birmingham, so this is close for home, blood. And what I see, and then when I heard the history of the whole thing, like, man was generally just working, grafting, treating himself, but then because he's still doing his work and his graft, and he's treating himself, and he's got a life, let's just say he's bought a nice watch, and then man, I feel like they're entitled now. That's my watch. It's like, man, I've got this thing in the hood where if they ain't got it or they can't afford it, but they see a week to pray with it, it's theirs. Because this man can't respond. He ain't got a thing. He ain't gonna come looking back for his thing. Or it could go peakum and you could turn a good person back because he's been doing all this crap, doing all this legit thing, thinking, yeah, as long as I stay legit, no one ain't gonna trouble me. Yeah. But as you know, I know, that don't go for blood. And I could go back to my days of just having a mountain bike, blood. And man would have seen me around the hood. You see, that I could speak my truth. I don't business no more. I'm too big. And you see the things that I do got. Anybody can look for my stuff now, and they can check it because it's insured. That's how old I am. And you can take me shit and trust me. If it's not worth me dying for, you can take it like a car. I just phone insurance company and I'm telling them, yo, my things have just got robbed. Here's your crime number. Have a good day, sir. But I'll do a little one. Like, I remember when I had my bike, I spent You know when you used to be able to get the Liquidwood catalogs and them catalog things there, and you have to pay $3.99 every week.
Yeah.
For the thing. Right, I got my mountain bike. This is them times there's no suspension on mountain bike that's come out yet. I'm looking at the catalog, seeing this thing gleaming. And I'm like, yo, cut the picture out, Took it downstairs, said to mom, don't order this.
Yeah.
My mom's like, nah, you're not going to keep up with the payment.
Yeah.
You're not going to keep up with it. I'm like, nah, I want this bike. I will not let you down.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll give you 2 weeks ahead. So I can't fall behind.
Mm.
You get me? Boom. Got my mountain bike turned up, blood. I thought I was fishing Antwerp, blood. I'm riding up all the bike. Feel like I'm on 16 switches and them things there, you get me? The bike was like big about it, blood.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, looking at everybody else's bike. No one ain't even got a suspension on the fork. Never mind the flipping, the whole bike.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with my bike now. I don't think I've had my bike longer than 2 months, bro. And you see, by the time I got 2 months, my brethren must have said to me, one of my brethren, like, yo, come, link me down by a school. We're going to link 2 gal and that. I'm like, sounds like a plan. Man, I jumped on the bike, flew down to the school. Man, out there, you would have thought me and him was on 2 ninjas or something, blood. No pedal bikes, you get me? But by the time I'm there now, we're ready. I see some faces, not gonna name no names, but I see some faces there. And the worst thing is, the man never even looked on my bike. He looked at my brethren's bike, and he's going to my brethren, that classic one. Give me a go. And I'm saying, why, sir? I hope they don't ask me. But as a brethren, I'm not gonna ride off and leave my next brethren, so I'm still there. Hear what my brethren, well, I call it a supposed core brethren, I should say. Can we go back? Yo, his bike's better than mine. Ask him for a go. You see, from when they didn't even clap my bike, but you see, as soon as they turned around and seen that thing gleaming, it was like I was a model in the window on the showroom on the bike, blood. Because they didn't see me again after that. Be a pressure, give me a go, blood. Come on, blood. Give me a go, blood. Come on, man. You know me, if I wanted to rub it, blood, I just take it now, blood. All the same old talk. But deep down in my soul, I know once this bike's gone, it's not coming back. It's not coming back, blood. And I'm thinking in my head, no, I can't. I'm gripping on to this bike. In the end, it just didn't make it would have turned. We was out of our depth strength wise, so we would have got back there. You get me?
Yeah.
All right, then have a go. Blood, be quick though. But from when I've said that, I already know this bike now. Blood clot come back, Bridget. It's not a comeback. Boom, boom, boom. Anyway, fast forward, the bike didn't come back. Got home. You gotta remember, you see, this bike was so prestige to me, blood. It sat in the hall. It didn't even go in the garage. So by the time I'm sitting on TV watching telly now, my mom's already coming from work like, yo, where's your bike? Yo, this Jesus borrowed it. Yeah, I don't want to. Where does he live? That's all my mom said, funny. Where does he live? But you see, this, as I said, my mom's got this concept of like, yo, you can just knock on anybody's door, you get me?
Yeah.
But she goes to what them? She's knocked on door and come home and gone to work. That means I still gotta walk these streets. But anyway, she gone. Bloom, 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 bloom. Bloom, 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 bloom. Looking at the man's door. This time, no one's not answering. So, mom just said, you know what? Don't even stress. It's stolen. We report it stolen. And it's insured. So don't worry about it. So I'm like, okay. No, I'm going to argue that. At least I don't lose my money. We went home. Matter stopped. I forgot about it. They've all sent me a new bike. To the fact that, I did with the new bike thing.
Yeah.
I sent it back. Okay. That's how much it scarred me. I only bought second-hand bikes after that, blood.
Yeah.
Because I knew how the wood stay. And the worst thing is, that didn't even finished there. Imagine a couple of weeks later, I'm on the bus. I'm going to buy some clothes for Carnival. And the same youth that took my bike has now come and see me on the bus talking about, yo, why you knocking my door the other day for, bro? How come you brought your mom to my house? Blood, what you got for me? But this time, you see me. I said, I'd rather be a victim than especially on them ignorant days there. I'd rather be a victim than you keep on trying to bully me, blood. You've already took the bike and had no response. Now you're going to try and tap me up on a bus, blood. I'm not having it. No way. What? And you're talking about he's with a group of men as well. So the man I put knife in my side and that saying, yo, what money you got on you? Them times, I got money on me. But I ain't doing pulling out my pocket and giving you my money. Plus, you're going to have to take my shoe off, my sock off, just to find this 20-pound virgin. Because it's at the bottom of my heel. You get me? So you're not finding it, virgin. You're going to have to strip me out this button. I know that ain't happening. So you can dip me as much as you like. But my nose sitting pretty underneath my foot, you get me? So, in the end though, I remember one of the other youths, you know how far it was going that was on his team and told him to allow it. And from there, they didn't bother me again.
Yeah.
But it was just like I said, that was just a snippet, bro. That was 1993, bro.
Yeah.
That's 1993, and it's still fresh in my brain. You get me? And I'm saying, look on that. Look on the little thing that happened just the other day. You look on the little fossils, bro. And as I said, it's like, unless you can feed everybody in the hood and they look exactly like you or they can get the same things what you've got, you can't shine, bro. You can't shine because the have-not and the worst, not only the have-not, the have-nots that are not willing to work and go and earn that.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are the problem, because not only do they ignore opportunity to like even go out and graft and work and have that self-satisfaction of, yo, I've earned my money, I'm going to treat myself.
Yeah.
Because even if when you're in the hood, bro, nobody doesn't look at you as a worker. And to me, there's like principles like, if a man's grafted, leave him alone.
Yeah.
If a man's showing the youth them the right way, leave him alone.
Do you know what though? I think
because at the end of the day, can't be always the drug dealers that are inspiring the youth in the end. Because then, how can you change the narrative? How can you change the pattern of their behavior if that's the only people in the hood they look up to?
Well, you see, you can't. It's going to be difficult to change the narrative, right? Because if people that are successful and not through doing wrongdoings, like hard working, successful. And if those people are coming back to their community, just to pass through the community, maybe to visit family, maybe to go party into a venue that they used to go to before, that they found enjoyable. People are coming back to the community to do that, and they're getting bothered or getting robbed or so forth. Then those people are going to stop coming to the community, and then what will happen is the youths that are growing up are not going to see these people, do you know what I mean, as like someone to look up to. So going back to what you're saying, if they're only seeing the people that are doing wrongdoing, like the drug dealers and so forth in the community, there are other people as well in the community, that are doing the right thing, but they may not move around certain places now because they know they can't. Do you know what I mean?
Lord, it's a thing where, right, as I said, you can look at life. Like I said, I used to love Handsworth with a passion, bro. And when I say love Handsworth, I just used to love the vibe. The vibe of what Handsworth is, yeah. The security. Like, my dad was telling me a simple story from, like, his day. And he said, yo, he used to have a brethren. Well, his brethren was, like, born and raised in Northfield. I'm going back to the, like, 80s and that, blood. So you already know what kind of place Northfield was back then. Yeah? And my dad said he used to have a brethren down there. And he said, you see, the day he linked him and brought him down to Handsworth. He goes, his brethren never left Handsworth.
Okay.
Because he just couldn't believe the vibes that was down here. You could have gone up at someone's yard and a fucking game of dominoes, and you always can smell good food in the year, and you got blues all the way down one road. Your options, you get me? That sense of community was around it.
Yeah.
Where, like I said, if your mum seen me and I was getting up to no good, by the time I reach home, my mum knows, you get me, or Miss Roddy sees somebody,
Yeah.
she's one of we messing about. You know, sooner or later, our moms know. Because we had other parents looking out for we. Now it's, you got to be worried that the youth are going to ban up the other parents.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, sense the community has done. So when you got these little leaders that are doing something, man, have to a protective barrier should go around them automatically. You see, like how you got the roadman and you got the fat man.
Yeah.
That fat man he's protected, isn't it? Now, like, them say man protected like Fort Knox now, yeah?
Yeah.
You got to go through his army to get to him. That's how we have to do our Heralds of the Sunrise Bakeries and all of these kind of people that are pillars of the community, that have always pumped and tried to help out the community.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who they are, but at the same time, them man ain't gonna say, yo, I'm stopping in Antwerp, really. And there's big, and you know, you can't say there's not big enough houses because you just have to drive down Sandwell Road, and them yards used to be mansions to me.
Yeah,
but now I drive past them now, and I'm thinking, as big as that yard is, I wouldn't want to live there. Or go down to Handsworth Wood, and you got them big houses we drive where you have to drive up. I still wouldn't want to live there, because what happens when you come out the front gate?
Problem. It's a problem.
All right, then. And make it worse. Imagine we was youths that lived in Handsworth Wood back in the day, yeah, and we lived down there, and we was driving up to like through Church Green and Raleigh Close and past the park and all them things there. And all the youths them know where we live, and we would return back to that yard. But people don't see the struggle, and you know the worst thing is, man come from back in the day, like I said, because you know these youths ain't educated. Like man would come back, man live in a boat house, but live around the corner from a council house. Yeah?
Yeah.
But you know the worst thing is, we're both still eating flipping pilchards and rice. We're still both eating corned beef and rice for dinner on a hard day.
Yeah.
You get me? People don't see the same struggle, bro. They just feel like, oh, they own their house, they're rich. And you know what it is as well, with a person that makes money to a person that's waiting for money, is that we might get it a bit quicker.
Well, you know what though, this the thing as well. The person that's like making money, that's doing really successful, you would never see a person that's very, very wealthy. You wouldn't know. You could be standing by someone that's really, really wealthy, you know, and you wouldn't know that person's wealthy. And it's because it goes down to, what do you class as wealth? What do you class as wealth? If you see somebody standing there dripping in designer wear from head to toe, a big car, you speak to any of your youths at the youth center and you show them two pictures, somebody that's got dripping in designers and somebody that's just probably got a white t-shirt on, blue or black jeans or whatever, or it could be a female that's just got basic clothes on, standing there. They will always go to the person that's dripping, big car and everything, and say that person's got P. Well, in actual fact, right, the other person is probably the one that's most wealthy. And if you think about it, and this is what they say, like there's a book, right, that I should have read years ago. I had this book years ago. I didn't read it until last year. It's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And there's a diagram, or it talks about a diagram in there, right, where it looks at people, right, with a poor mindset. Their liability box, they got loads of stuff in their liability box. So it's probably like car finance and credit card bills and living up to the expensive lifestyle of buying designers, going out, you know, buying alcohol when you're out and so forth. But then if you look at the rich person, their assets box is full. Their liability box is minimum. The poor person's assets box may have nothing in there. So it just goes to show, in terms of looking at wealth, people only see, especially people in the community, people in the community that kind of like, I don't want to say lack of education, you know, because people in the community, we're educated people. But it's the lack of knowledge though, like knowing certain things.
Money management, man.
Yeah.
Money management, bro. Like I said, my house can be broke up now All it takes me to do, you know, like I said, is empty out and leave it as a shell. And that's worth more than everything that was in there.
Yeah.
You get me? People don't see that, blood. They would rather be coming to the yard, see some 65-inch TV, some double fridge, some every technology you can think of, Apple Mac, flipping, press button to turn light on and all of these kind of madness there, yeah?
Yeah.
And that could cost me a bomb. If somebody could just come in my yard and just clear that all out. But I'm still left with the bricks, which is where the money's worth. And that's what people don't seem to realize, bro. They want to look good before the reality of black. Think about it. They'd say about 80% of Britons are in credit. Including me, because my mortgage not done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're still always paying, but at least, like, just a simple fact of what my mum would say to me then, how are you going to keep on paying rent and not living in this house and making somebody else rich? You get me? Like, and for me, I remember my mom said, get a mortgage, and she said that over 25 years ago to me. And I was like, nah, that means I gotta work for 25 years, that's long. But guess what? Over 30 years later, I'm still working. So if I would have took that advice earlier, my mortgage would have done ages ago.
But these are
because
things though.
Especially at that time of the prices of the houses,
Yeah.
you're talking about when it was 120 grand for a 4-bedroom house.
Yeah, but they don't teach that in schools, you know, King. You gotta remember, right? These are the things that they don't teach in school. And look, I was speaking to, like, you know, a young person. This is the middle to the start of 21. Yeah, 2020, so last year. Doing all right, legitimately doing all right, and but haven't got all the overheads because they're young, innit? Right? So they haven't got like the overheads of paying either rent or mortgage, you know, loads of kind of like bills, you know, the normal utility bills. Hasn't got that responsibility just yet because they're young, innit? The parents are allowing them because they see that they're doing well, like legitimately. And so I've said to them, I said, look, you know, while you're in this situation now, right, why don't you start looking at some investments, right? Whether it be property investments or even investing in like some bonds and, you know, stocks and so forth. Just do that. Their response was, they do that, they can't physically see where their money's going. Like if they bought something for themselves, like, and they don't buy, they're not big in buying designers, but they do like buying a few little nice bits and bobs like clothes and that. So they're saying if they bought something nice, they can see where their money's gone. And I'm saying that, you see that mindset there, it's a poverty-stricken mindset, because what you're doing is you're buying something that you can see, but what you're buying has no value. Doesn't have any value. It has momentary value. Now, if you're gonna buy a nice watch, like a classic piece, and not go out there and do the madness to it, all this bust down business, but just buying a watches for investment, then you know that that's an investment that potentially could grow over years. You buying a car,
But not in the hood. Not in the hood.
Not if you're gonna be, but if you're wise about it and you're not buying it to go out there and, you know, wear it and so forth. If you're buying it to say, look,
why you gonna buy a watch if you're not gonna wear it? What's the point?
Yeah, but you see, this is the thing, right? This is it's you've got to look at it as an investment. If you speak to, even if you sat down and spoke to someone that's a millionaire or someone that's very wealthy, they will have conversations with you in terms of they bought this picture, or they bought this watch, or they invested in this kind of like bonds that they know when they're sleeping, that's generating for them. It's growing. That's why they say they've got the two boxes. They've got assets and liability. You want to have minimum things in your liability box and loads of stuff in your assets box so that it's always turning and growing for you. But it's the mindset that they don't teach this in schools. They don't teach it in schools because, right, you wouldn't end up, you know what I mean? You could see somebody, you know, a lot of wealthy people that's driving nice cars. Half of the time they're not even paying for those cars, you know. It's through tax write-offs and, you know, different business ventures that they're trickling and paying for those cars. But then you got the people that's in the community.
The richest people pay the least tax.
Say that again?
We've done this already. The richest people pay the least tax.
This is what you see. This is what I'm saying. It's the template that they've built. But if we're in the community and what we're always continually trying to do is look at somebody that's got a nice car, look at someone that's got nice clothes and that, and class that as that person being successful and wealthy, then we haven't got the template. So if I see you, I'm going to want to take what you've got because I haven't got the template to acquire that. And I'm not even in the circle of people that's going to give me a good advice. Look, I needed a van, right? I needed to get a van and I couldn't get one. King. Like, I couldn't get a van, phoning around people. But because of the certain contacts that I've got in my phone, I phoned one person and they put me onto something and said, look, this is what you need to do to get this van. And I ended up getting it. It didn't really cost me much. But it's because that, you know, the people that you've got in your contact phone, these are people that are straight down the line legit. So they're going to show you, like, this is what you need to do and so forth, rather than cutting corners and saying, oh, let me phone a man down the road or let me phone this person that's going to let you down anyway.
Well, this is why in 2022, bro, you see all of them negative energy people and all them drag back people. I'm not messing with them, bro. Like I said, I'm fed up of talking. See me, I talk to enough man, you know. And me and enough man will reason. And I'll say there's not enough of us doing this, but then by the time I realize that I've added up the whole conversations that I've had with all the men, these are men I trust. These are the men that I'm having this conversation with, like, yo, we need to build something. But it's like, we'll talk about it, but we don't bring it together.
Yeah.
I'm fed up of just talking about it, man, because I know there's enough of us, wise and smart. Like I said, it's not like I don't know house owners. And I think 90% of my friendship network right now, everyone's working legitly. You get me? So I don't need to kid myself out. I've got bad people around me. You know, I've got inspirational fathers around me, blood.
You see what it is, though, King? You see what it is, right? And this is what people always fall into this trap, you know, about we're in a new year. January is hype. People are like motivated in January. New Year's resolutions, the whole 9 yards of it. But if you strip it back, you know, King, people, right, are not willing to change themselves. If you say that I've got a New Year's resolution and my New Year's resolution is that 2022 is not going to look like 2021. I'm going to go to the gym, do this, build relations with my family, whatever your goal is, unless you change as an individual. And that's what a lot of people are not willing to do, you know. It's that self-reflection and say, forget what is happening to me and forget all these other things outside. The first thing I need to change is my own mindset. Because look, you know yourself, King, a person will start going to the gym in January with all the great intentions, but by, say, March, April, that weekly gym chip turns to probably 3 times a month. Then as you go down in the year, it turns out to, I ain't been gym for the last 3 months. The momentum stops. But I tell you what, if the doctor said, mate, if you don't go to the gym or if you don't change your diet, that diabetes that you've got is going to end up killing you. Why does it will take that? Sometimes it doesn't even take that for some people, right? But it takes that, and that kind of mentality, you can get that mentality without getting that bad news. You have to know yourself, like mentally, you have to change. as an individual. If you're in a house, King, right, and you're arguing with your missus, constantly arguing with your missus, remember, you can only take responsibility for yourself. So what you have to do, right, is say to myself, what part am I playing in this argument that's causing it? As much as you probably missus doing your head in or whatever, or a family member's doing your head in, but you have to take responsibility for yourself. And I think a majority of people are not taking responsibility for their own actions. That's my take on things. That is my take on it too. So going back to what you're saying in terms of, if you're successful, can you come back to the community that you love? You should be able to. I'm on the fence with that one, because you should be able to come back to your community, but straight away.
I feel like even if you don't want to come back to your community, even if you're not going to, my perfect vision, I feel it would be more harder if
yes, technicals. It's the first of the year and we were on this, but don't worry. Let me just plug Big King back in, and we'll get his perspective on things. Yo, this is
interruption. I'm gonna have to get a next one back when we do this properly.
Don't worry, man. This is we're doing it raw anyway, so it's cool. Technicals in it. People can know that we're just there. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, so flipping my dream, if I could just outlive my dream, I'd prefer to I'd buy some acres that I just buy. Once I've got these acres now, build my yard, and then I'll just offer it out to say to a man yo, whatever you build on this land is for your future.
Yeah.
So that gets passed on. You don't even have to pay for the land. Build your own yard. Yeah. So when you gone now, this can never be sold. This will always be your youth, your grand youth, and your grand youth.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is our community. When a man want to come here just in a 6-week holiday, or man want to move here, this is what we're gonna do. Then on top of that, I'd have enough land to make sure, put some chickens down the stuff, grow a couple trees and some veg over here stuff.
Yeah.
So the land can be self-sufficient and don't have to go outside that circle too much just to eat.
Mm.
And I would just try and from there I would try and build a community within, and then hopefully I fill up the land.
Yeah.
And it's people of the same like-mindedness, achievers. You get me? You get a doctor down there. You say, you know what? Rather than you going to work, let's do a safe surgery around here.
Yeah.
So everybody that lives down here, they come to you.
Something that you gotta start. You gotta start it, because you know what I find with people, right? When you have all the best intention, the best will in the world, and you talk about something, unless you start it, people are not going to follow. And you gotta start something, right, with the intention of, I'm doing this because I want to do it and I'm passionate about it. If people follow, they follow. If they don't, they don't. It's not gonna dent or hinder your progress. And I'm 99% sure that in the long run, those who are buying into the dream will follow the dream, man. But the problem that we have, is that we don't start things. Like, not just us two. I'm not saying just us two, but I'm just saying in general. A lot of people don't just start things. Like, I've started listening to this interview. It's a teacher in it from Jamaica. It's something called Teach Them. It's been about for years, but I've only come on to been brought on it recently. Just in the last year, it's just come up on my feeds and I've been listening to it. But what he does, King, right? He interviews a lot of the Jamaican artists, like the DJs. So Bounty Killer, Beanie Man, Roundhead, some of the old school ones as well. Terry Ganzi, all those people he interviews. And the theme that I've been hearing from those interviews is that a lot of these DJs right? They were just doing it for the love of the music, you know. Like, even when you listen to Bounty Killer's story, he was doing it just strictly for the love of the music, King. He said that he went to the studio and he didn't care about any money and that. He just wanted his tunes to be recorded and just go out so people can hear it. That's all he wanted. He just wanted to DJ. He just loved being in that DJ kind of like circle. Do you know what I mean, King? That's all he was interested in, you know. And look at him now. Look at where he is now. But that all started from he just wanted to be in the dance song. That's all he wanted, you know. So it goes down to our intentions as well. If you're doing something and you've got a true love and a passion for it, that's where the dedication and the drive will come from, you know. Like, we're doing this now.
And that's the lower thing in our community. Half the time we don't realize what we want to do. So we've gone through the trials and tribulations of life.
Yeah.
Where, you know, enough of these men have got their thing patterned. It's written in their books before they even reach school, blood, where their goals are.
Yeah.
And what they're heading for. And it's like, someone in our community, it's like certain man have to stare at 4 walls in a prison and say, yo, light bulb moment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why should it take that? I don't want it to get to that. Especially me being a youth worker.
Yeah.
To get to, I don't want you to make the mistakes. I even go through with my own kids, like, I don't want you to make the mistake. Even though some of the mistakes that I've made has defined me of my character.
Yeah.
But I still want to save you from that heartache.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to have that feeling, and in that protection, sometimes it ends up even spoiling the youth because they don't know about rejection, they don't know about hearing the word no. And then by the time that takes them into adulthood, and you're not really ready to baby them no more as adults, they take it into their own hands without no form of flipping blueprint.
Yeah.
Because everything's been handed to them.
Well, you see what it is though. Do you think though is that we haven't got the blueprint ourselves? So, all right then, go back to what you're just saying. We've been through trials and tribulations. That's what made us the person that we are today, and we've been through it. But what we're saying is that we don't want our kids to go through what we went through. So we're trying to show them, listen, this is what you need to do. But reality is, we haven't got the blueprint anyway. So what is it that we're showing them? We're showing them not to make the mistakes that we didn't make. But we're not showing them nothing a different way. And I'll give you the example. That Rich Dad Poor Dad, I've had that book for years, King. Like, I'm talking about probably over 7 years I've had this book. And I haven't read it. Do you know how much people have said to me, you need to take this book in, you need to take this book in, and I haven't. It's only the last year that I took that book in. I've got a different perspective. You know, if I read that book, like that over those 7 years prior when I first was introduced to it, the way that I interact, or not even interact, some of the things that I would say to my kids would be different. Because now I'm starting to talk about assets and liability, and there's things that I've done which I reflect and I think to myself, I shouldn't have done that, you know. I shouldn't have like even like certain little bits of jewelry that, you know, back in when we was at the bakery days, man, and we bought, you know, we grafted for it. It's not like we It was part of the people. You have to come out your yard. It was part of it, you know, like not in recent days where you see people now, they want the gloves or whatever to have that. It's like a uniform in it. Back in the day, we had those certain little things, and we worked and grafted for our things. You know, if we didn't sell those over the years, we didn't sell them, the price of gold now is through the roof, you know. But right, because you just don't know, like there's certain things that you don't know, it's because of the teaching that we get. We're not surrounding ourselves around people that are going to show us a blueprint. So going
even
back,
that little thing, like you said, that will go back to,
yeah,
that will still always drop back to, even if we did hold it, that would have had to be a thing where that was in the yard. We wouldn't be able to wear it again.
yeah, but it's because, right, we'll have a different mindset in terms of assets and liability. That will become an asset. So that your assets, right, you're not going to parade your asset out in the community, out on the road. Why would you parade your asset out on the road? But we're not seeing it. We didn't see it as an asset. So going back to what you were saying earlier, Ron, we're trying to show our kids, right, so that they don't go through what we went through. But what blueprint are we giving them? Or what blueprint are we saying to them, look, this is the blueprint that you need to follow? Or this is the blueprint that will get you to X, Y, and Z. There's not really a blueprint, you know. If you really like, if you scale it back. So that's why I say that we always talk about New Year's resolutions and we want to do this. We're going to do this for 2022. We're going to change. It's all very well saying that we're changing something, but what blueprint are we following? Like what changes are we going to actually make rather than saying, I'm going to start going to the gym?
Because as much as you could lay out a blueprint, but if half the time some of the hurdles that come with them blueprints are hard to jump over anyway. You get me? Cause we don't, as much like I said, it all sounds good. A lot of things all sound good in theory, but practice is a whole lot of different ball game.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game. Everything sounds good in theory. Do it this way, do it that way, do it that way. It should go straight to plan. But how often does it ever work out straight to plan?
Listen,
said, you could have all of these both.
Those people, right, with a different mindset, right, will get to their destination. They will get to their destination because, right, you know, King, life is going to smack you in the face at some points during your journey, you know, and we can only break it down into a year. Then the first quarter of the year, right, it's all excited, everyone's motivated. But the minute something comes in, something's going to smack you in the face, you know. It's just like the fight, then the analogy you look at, the Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, the first fight. Now imagine, you know, Deontay, look, they're fighting, you know. Deontay Wilder, right, knocks Tyson Fury, puts him on his back. That's life, right? Knocking you out, you know. Can you imagine now, King? He's laying down on the canvas. We all saw what happened. He's laying on the canvas. What the hell is going through his head? Number one, he's thinking, I didn't put all this training in just to lay down I'm not going to lay down like this. Loads of things is going through his head. That's a different type of energy to get up, you know. How many people will get... Look, Deontay Wilder's knocked out loads of people, King. You know that he's knocked out loads of people that we've watched. How many people have got up from his punches? Probably Tyson Fury's the only one that's actually got up. But what makes him different from all the other people? Because it's a different mentality. He's gonna drawn in. He saw what his future looks like already. And he's laying on that canvas and thinking, when I was dreaming about this being a champion and dreaming about boxing, my dream didn't look like this. This is not what it looks like. So I'm going to get up. I need to get up. And he's got up, and not only did he get up, he got up and started fighting back. So that's what life is going to do to people, you know.
I still feel like he's got over the thing. I feel like he got 1 second extra in that count anyway. But I get your analogy of it all.
He probably got 1 second extra back. But if you think it, look,
I get the analogy of it all. I hear what you're trying to say. So like, you lick down, you see stars, but somehow just before that dark hole gets too dark and you lose the light, you grab the edge of the hole and you climb out of that hole and you're like, yo, we're not done yet.
You're not done. You know what, right? When you build up your New Year's resolution, you know, you have to see, you have to envision what your end goal or what your desire, what does it look like? And I'm not talking about all these designer bodies, you know. King, you know, people are going foreign, flying out to get their designer booty done and plastic surgery done and coming back. Man are getting six packs all done for themselves now. Do you know what I mean? So when you look at the Instagram lifestyle or the social media lifestyle and you see all these bodies, people don't realize, you know, that the ones that are truly working, they're in the gym, you know. And it's not just the gym, it's a whole lifestyle. Your diet has to change. The way you're eating has to change. Your sleeping pattern has to change. Your mindset, the whole thing has to change. So if you want to change your body, even if it's someone that wants to lose weight, you can go to the gym flipping 10 times a day if you want to. But the gym alone's not going to help you to lose weight. You have to look at your diet. Like, what is your calorie intake? You've got to look at your calorie intake. But how many people are willing to do that? Not much, you know, because once you start going to the gym, right, may be the easy part. Because you could go to the gym, right, and get on the treadmill and do your running. Unless you've got someone there that's pushing you, you can stop, you know. Remember, when it gets too hard, you know, it gets too challenging, you can press the stop button, you got a bit of sweat. So you think to yourself, I've worked. But the real work starts when you get home. Because now, right, your body's saying, hold on, you know that fizzy pop that I used to drink, I'm not drinking it now. So I have to drink water. Now it becomes a mental game. That's the hard part, you know, and how many people are willing to go through that psychological challenge. It's hard.
And it's not easy. It's not easy because you see what it is. You see, food in England made for convenience.
Yeah.
You get me? And that convenience outshadows preparing a fresh meal, which is what you should be eating.
Yeah.
You get me? No matter you think about it, you take something as simple as a McDonald's or chicken nuggets from flipping Iceland. These things are frozen to last. You get me? So even when they're on freeze, they don't even go bad straight away.
Yeah.
So some things to make that last a couple extra days after it's frozen. Even the fruit we eat, because we eat so much fruit out of season, how do you think they're gonna bring that clean from forest, uncontained, to the superstore, round the back, then onto the shelf, then into the yard?
Remember,
you're telling me?
Listen, this fruit thing, right? It's 9 days shelf life, you know, from picking. You know that, and it's roughly about 9 days shelf life from picking, you know. And that's like packaging and sending it over. Those are things you gotta think about. So you tell me what preservatives have got to be put on these things there, because it's taking 10 days just to get from where it gets cut down, just on the boat to over here. Yeah. You get me? That's on the big freight containers, big things, blood. That ain't going fast, you know. That's chugging along in the sea, blood. And then it's gonna last on there, then get shipped from the lorry to the supermarket. Then from the supermarket, you are gonna buy it. Then if you buy a bunch of bananas or some peaches or something, you're not eating them all in one day. Yeah. So that's gonna be 2-3 days on your shelf as well in your yard. So what are they spraying on that thing there, for it to last all of that time on top of freezing it as well? Yeah. And not every fruit you can freeze because it will go bad. I hear that. You know what I'm saying, bro? So we still got a mindset of we're eating healthy. Yeah. Even if we say, we're just gonna eat fish, the way that they're scaring us about the sea and how everything is polluted and the fish is eating everything. We still gotta eat the fish, you know. Yeah. And the amount of plastic that they say that's in the water now, man should be running scared. Like, I ain't even touching that fish, you know. Because unless, because you got to remember as well, though, there is a lot of fish farms around. Yeah. You get me? Where you bought this, if you've got a lake or a pond and you built it man-made, then you know what's in that water. Yeah. So you can control it. Like I said, you can control your life, but obviously it takes money to do that. Plant-based living, man. People might have to start thinking about plant-based living, you know. But you
Lord,
get
listen,
your
you
money out.
but we have to go old school and go buy a 1 litre a lot better that you get them.
You think it's joke though?
I do keep the conversation.
You know, you think it's joke though? Like, listen, like Mr. Ruddy, you know, sent me something not even the other day, a couple months ago, right? Man, like Fecky's got his farm, you know.
Eh?
Fecky's got a farm, you know. No,
Who's got a farm?
Fecky, you know, Fecky, the artist, London artist. Your kids will know about that, man. You must know about Fecky, man. You gotta know about it.
Yeah. But imagine he weren't the first one to do it, though. You know who the first one to buy a farm?
Who?
One of the black youths from JLS.
Oh, for real? Ah, yeah. Yes. Listen, this goes back to what we were just saying then, right? This touches on it perfectly. The man from JLS, right? He's bought his farm, innit? Now,
I know, laughing after it, you know.
But who's got the bigger? Personally, I don't know, but who had the bigger impact in terms of people now noticing and thinking, hold on, this could influence other people. Now you got JLS and you got Fecky. Now I've only remember Fecky doing the farm thing until you've said to me, you know, the youth from JLS has done the farm thing. I associated the farm with Fecky because even when I was talking to Ruddy, I was like, yo, that's good, you know. That's now showing the youths a different way of, do you know what I mean, business, or it's not the norm of you rapping or, you know, doing your music career, then building a record label and doing this. It's just like completely gone against the grain, farm. Do you know what I mean? So it just goes to show, right, the influence of different people of how they can change the mindset. So going back to what we were saying, bringing it 360 into, can you come back to the hood? I think that you should be able to come back to the hood, but it's the people that's got the influence that will come back to the hood and show them, look, this is what you can do. Do you know what I mean? And then it changes the mindset of those in the community.
I feel like you have to, when it comes down to the hood and me, because I feel like I said, even in England, if I had to pick right now, I wouldn't move out of Rome, but I'll definitely move more to outskirts where I at least got half an acre of land for my youth to run around free on. That's what I would prefer. So I'd go outskirts more than move out.
Yeah.
Rather than move out, I'd rather go outskirts of Rome. But my passion to still want to be in the hood and change the narrative would never change.
But would that change though?
I still work, like as long as I'm still living and breathing, I'm always gonna do youth work.
But would you really do that though?
And
would you really do that? Come on now, like thinking.
You gotta remember, it depends on how we get it. If I've got money, all right, let's say we're doing this show now, and if Amazon come up to us and say, yo, boom, want you to do 4 days a week, Kings of Conversation, the rest of your time, your free time, here's your signing on fee. And I know now I can, boom, this mortgage is done. I probably don't even have to shut this yard. Go and get a next yard out in the sticks.
Yeah.
Not far, but not far away. I know I'm still doing my youth work, 100%. Even if I'm setting up, I'm setting up my youth club, but I know that when I open up my youth club, I don't have to be there to run it. But I've got a team that will always run it because they love it just as much as me.
Yeah.
So either that part of me, whether the youth see me there, and I'm going to make sure the youth see me there at least once or twice a week to know where I'm coming from, the same place as them. So the building that they're in now is mine. Plus I got my next yard out of foreign, and this is the thing I've always told. See, one thing about me and the youth at youth club, I always tell them, yo, I got no education, but I'm a house owner. And my house is worth bare bags. And I don't even say to show up to them. I say to like inspire them, like, yo, man, I got kicked out of school 9 times, left with no education. I've been grafting ever since. But what I'm trying to tell these youth, you don't have to grasp as long as me. I'm 40. If I would have listened, I would have had this done by the time I was 30.
Yeah.
And that's my message to them. And there's not youth that will come back to me 5-6 years from I ain't seen them. And they're like, yo, King, you see some of them things that you said to us? Don't think it didn't stick with us, then.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're out here. And this man's work, it's like they can't wait to tell me that they're working. And I'm like, yes. Finally, because obviously when I'm at club with them, some of them, they're starting to hustle.
Yeah.
They're starting to dip their finger in. But like I said to a man, you see this street life, bro, it has no place for a humble heart. So if you're humble and you've got a conscience, you can't come and try and mix on with the wolves, because the wolves don't care.
Yeah.
The wolves do things without no conscience. Where when you do something and you're thinking, rah, nah, can't do that, or can't sell that to my man, or when you have that mindset, you're off the street.
Listen,
because you ain't meant to be there.
Listen, right? Every time you come out, it's like you're playing Monopoly, and you got to think about it is, in every opportunity, you're either gonna draw a community chest or a chance. That's what it's like, in the community. You're either pulling community chest or you're going to pull a chance card. One of them ones. And it's always majority of the time, it's always the ones that are not really involved in stuff. They will always get the chance card. They will always pull the chance. And the chance, right, is always going to have devastating consequences. Very rarely, you see somebody that's, you will pull a community chest. It's very rarely. Very, very rarely. It's the ones that are probably entrenched in that life. They seem to pull community chest a lot of times. But then the ones that is probably just out there, or the ones that have turned their life around and says, you know what, I've done this road thing, but I'm going to turn my life around now and hold it down. They come out on the road. They're taking that card, that chance card. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we could talk all day, man, because we're on a bit. We're going to have to reconvene, We're going to have to reconvene because...
This conversation won't end until the pain ends anyway, bro.
Yeah.
And like I said, in that summary, as I said, the hood has got no place for a humble heart. So if you want to shine, don't think about it. That's what I say. Like, allow it. Like I say, you don't see man like Bill Gates and them man shining, and you would have think they're even billionaires, bro. They're just standard. So if you're gonna be that geezer in the hood and you don't want no attention, leave all of them things there. Unless you want to move out, be you. The only way you can shine and people ain't jealous is when you're amongst people that have the same amount as you or more.
You gotta be amongst like-minded people.
Like-minded people.
You gotta be amongst like-minded people.
That's like me saying, yo. That's like me saying, yo, I go clubbing in all the VIP places where all the celebs are. But you know what? Today, I'm going to go to a Sugar Bean. Nothing now going to happen to me down there. I'm going to be the most ignorant fool to even think that, blood.
Yeah. You know what? And it's a shame that it has to be like that, But you know what? When you make a move in your life, right, and certain things happen for you in your life, you got to surround yourself with like-minded people. And that's not to say you're leaving your loved ones and leaving your friends behind. But you have to start circling around like-minded people. Yes, you may want to go back to the hood and think to yourself, let me go back to the hood and, go partying. These are the places that I used to go. I enjoyed it there. But if you're going to go around, right, and not rub it in people's face, but you got to remember, right, that there's people that may not be on the same thought process as you. They may have what you've got as well. They may have it, because we can't say that people are robbing because they haven't got it. They may have it, but the mindset. Say that again, King.
Yeah, you can walk into a dance and don't know nobody's watching you.
Yeah.
You just gone there to have a good time. All it takes is bad man over there in the corner who's been watching this thing all night. Watch her now, watch you.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
Get me? And just, you don't even know what's going on.
Mm.
But this girl now seen you come in and loves your energy.
Yeah.
Bad man in the corner's been standing in the corner all day, like, yo, giving it the eye and everything and not getting no response. You didn't even look for a response. But that energy now, his energy now, from liking this thing, they've gone to, can't get this thing, we're going to have to bust your head.
Yeah.
And these are the simple things in the hood where people don't even realize go on. But like I said, we could rap about this all day, every day. And until a Richard Branson comes into the hood and shares the wealth, it's going to be the same discussion for a very long time.
Listen, I think the wealth could, even if you had a Richard Branson that came into the hood and shared the wealth, as I said, going back to the New Year's resolutions, your mindset has to change. A man could drop, right, the same amount of money and opportunity to me, drop it to you, drop it to, the rest of the people. But if their mindset hasn't changed, they're going to look at me, right, and look at you and think, hold on, well, why have you got? Not look at, we've all got the same amount. They're going to look at, no, you're not supposed to have that. Do you know what I mean? So the mindset has to change. The mindset, and if the mindset doesn't change, a lot of people are going to avoid coming back. Listen, it's just like someone that plays football. You could have grown up in your area, and then you become a very successful footballer. It's very rarely that they'll come back to the area, and even if they do come back to the area, they're coming back to do charity work. They're not coming back to chill with, the circles and go party and that. They're probably coming back to either go to a school or what's it called? The food places, food banks, or a hospital. They'll come and do a work in a hospital or a youth club.
Back up to the mansion.
Back to the man. And when they do come down, do you remember they're coming down with their people as well, so they've got their, their people around you. So you can't just get to them. It's not like you can just get to them just like that, So yeah, but we could be here all day, Big King. We're gonna have to wrap this one up, man. Have to wrap this one up, right? But yeah, we're gonna have to be like a little bit more consistent with these now. And
all right then.